Today I'm looking at what I think is the best of the clamshell style flip phones, the Motorola Razr 60 Ultra. This is arguably the most premium of all the flip style phones, with its expansive cover screen and even larger internal screen, powered by the powerful Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset. There are others, not least Samsung's Galaxy Z Flip 7. However, I think this is the best flip phone. Let's take a look and see why. I've used it for over a month on a daily basis. It feels very solid in the hand when closed. It takes up less space in the pocket or in the bag than a traditional candy bar style phone, and it has a very usable screen when closed for quick notification lookups, widgets and even full screen apps. Expands to a generous main screen and it still feels solid in the hand. The hinge is delightfully smooth and feels reassuringly solid. There's no creaking sounds and it's got that satisfying click when you shut it. Now the inner screen does have a crease, but in day-to-day use when you're using the phone, unless you're looking for it, you don't really notice it. You can feel it a little bit when your finger slides over the crease, but it's not obvious, and it certainly doesn't seem to get in the way when you're using the phone. At least that's been my impression. The whole device actually feels quite durable and solid. There's no problems with dust or water ingress, not in the time I've been using it. Having said that, I haven't thrown it in the sea or anything like that, but I have taken it down to the beach and I have used it on a daily basis, had it in my car, had it in my hand, had it in my pocket, etc. The battery life has also been very good, surprisingly good really, given the size of the battery inside it. It's not bad for a flip phone battery, but compared to some of the candy bar phones, not as big as those. So what do we get? The device runs on the top of the range Snapdragon 8 Elite mobile platform. The Samsung flip phone, the one I mentioned before, that runs on the Exynos 2500 chip, which is not quite as powerful as the full Snapdragon 8 Elite mobile. So you're getting quite a powerful chipset inside this device. Now the model I have here has 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. So it's up there with all the top premium smartphones you can buy today. The external display is, switch it on, it's a 4-inch LTPO AMOLED 165 Hz variable refresh rate. It has a peak brightness up to 3000 nits, so there shouldn't be any problem seeing this outdoors, even on a bright sunny day. The resolution is 1080 by 1272 pixels, which is 417 ppi, and it has Gorilla Glass ceramic protection on that front screen. The interior display is 7 inches. It's again an LTPO AMOLED display. It has the same 165 Hz refresh and up to 4500 nits peak brightness. The screen has a resolution of 1224 pixels via 2912 pixels, which gives 464 ppi. One of the big things I've noticed is the interior screen feels much more glass-like than previous models. I noticed on the previous models when I looked at them, it felt a little bit plasticky when you were running your finger over it. It doesn't. This feels much more like glass than previous versions have, which gives it a satisfying feel to the finger. It has a side fingerprint reader and face unlock, and they're both very good. They work well. The battery inside it, as I just mentioned, it's not as big as a candy bar phone, but it's 4700 milliamp hours, which is not too bad. The Samsung Flip, which I have already mentioned a couple of times, has a 4300 milliamp hour battery. One of the advantages with the Snapdragon 8 Elite, it is a more efficient processor than the one that was inside the Razr last year. It has 68 watt wired charging and 30 watt wireless charging. Again, comparing it to the Sam Flip, that has 25 and 15 watts. So not only does this have a bigger battery, but it's also faster at charging. It weighs just 199 grams, yet it feels nice and compact and solid in the hand. You feel like you're getting what you've paid for. It is IP48 dust and water resistant, so not going to withstand small grains of dust, but it will larger grains will be resistant to, and it's fully waterproof, so you can drop it in the toilet if you want to. It has 4 colour finishes. So the one I have here is Scarab, which is a very dark green. So in bright light you can see it as a green shade, but in day-to-day use it almost looks black, it's so dark. It's actually very pleasant. It's also an Alcantara artificial sort of leather feel to it, so it's got a little bit of grip, so it feels quite pleasant in the hand when you're holding it. There are other colours. There's Rio Red, there's Cabaret, which is a pink colour, and there's Mountain Trail, which is gold and with a sort of wood finish back. One of the beauties, I think, of what Motorola are doing is they're making their phones look a little bit different. They're giving some character to the phone. They have 2 cameras on the rear, or the front if you like, when you've got it this way around. So we have the 50 megapixel main wide camera, which is f1.8 with a 24mm, and it has optical image stabilization. The other camera is also 50 megapixels. It's an ultra wide with an f2.0 and 12mm equivalent lens. They're both 8K at 30 frames per second, and they do 4K at 3060 or 120 frames per second for video recording. The front selfie camera, the pinhole camera at the front here, this is again another 50 megapixel selfie, and again f2.0. Again, it can do 4K, 30 and 60 frames per second for video. One of the nice features I like about the phone is you can actually put it in what they refer to as tent mode. So you put it down around here, you can then use these cameras and hold your palm up to take a picture. Oh, I don't want to take one. You can also do it in clamshell mode, like and sit it on a ground or a bench or somewhere where you want to be, and again you can use it to take a video or a picture of yourself. So you've got like a inbuilt holder for your phone, a tripod even. Well, I don't know. They're quite useful, and I have used them a few times. When it comes to the camera quality, the picture quality, they're perfectly adequate. I don't think they're on a par with some of the top range slab phones, things like the iPhone, the S25 Ultra, the Google Pixel phones, the top of the range Pixel phones at any rate. But they're perfectly adequate, and they certainly do fine. You are giving up something because of the design of the phone and the compact feel of it. They're not that raised on the back, and I guess if they went a bit higher they could put more powerful cameras. The one thing you will miss, I think, is they haven't got much of a zoom range on them. They've gone for 2 ultra-wide cameras rather than a telephoto camera. Moto AI, like everyone, they're all putting AI in everything. I actually think some AI can be quite useful, but sometimes you think a lot of it is, well, just there for the sake of ticking a box. You've got things like you can tag photos, screenshots, notes. You can ask Moto AI about them later. There is a button on the side of the phone here, and that allows you to quickly launch the Moto AI, and then you can use the Catch Me Up feature, which will summarize missed notifications, messages or calls in a combined concise update. Another feature is called Pay Attention, and effectively that will transcribe audio recordings you make using the artificial intelligence. And then you can use the Catch Me Up feature, which will summarize missed notifications, messages or calls in a combined concise update. Another feature is called Pay Attention, and effectively that will transcribe audio recordings you make using the artificial intelligence, and then it will give you the printed out or the text version of what your audio was recorded, or what audio was recorded. The only downside, if you like, is it's all within the Moto AI. It doesn't synchronize to anything, say on a laptop or on a tablet or anything. There's also a Next Move feature, which is supposed to think of what you might be doing, looking at your itinerary, your calendar, and it will suggest recipes, travel plans, and suggest next actions, that kind of thing. I'll be honest, although I like AI and I use it in some ways, I have not used this. The other thing I found a little bit annoying was because of the location of it on the side of the phone here, sometimes I inadvertently press it without meaning to, and I find I've launched the Moto AI, which I didn't really want. So I've turned it off. I think lots of phone manufacturers are doing this kind of thing and putting these buttons on the side. I don't think you really need them. You can just access them directly within the phone anyway. Other Moto AI features, they've got Smart Connect. This is where you use your voice to connect your phone to other devices, and it mirrors the screen or sends the file to the other device. Just the Samsung phones, they have an image generator on it where you sketch out a doodle or write in a text prompt and it will try and create an image, a sticker or a wallpaper background. And they've done quite well on third-party AI integration. They've integrated and installed on the device Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot and Perplexity AI. So all three are already installed on the phone, and they try and make use of all of those when you're wanting to do some AI. Other features, one of them is called Look and Talk, and the idea of this is that you put the phone on the desk in that sort of configuration facing towards you, and then you simply look at the phone and talk to it and it will respond using the artificial intelligence. Again, not something I've particularly done, but it's there as an option if it works for you. It also has a feature called Playlist Studio. And the way this should work is it automatically creates playlists based on what's on the screen. So if you're looking at something on the screen, you want a playlist based on that. I don't know, I guess you're looking at a walk in the park or something like that, and it will create you a playlist that's appropriate. The only downside is, for me anyway, it only works with Amazon Music. I don't use Amazon Music. I use I use YouTube Music, and it doesn't at the moment work with that. Hopefully they might do that in the future. So in day-to-day use, I did have some initial connection problems with Android Auto. So when I was trying to connect it to my car, at first it didn't seem to work. And it was for a couple of days, and I kept trying. I was resetting the phone, resetting the car, just didn't seem to work. And then suddenly I got in the car one day, it worked absolutely fine, and it's been absolutely fine ever since. I've never had an issue since that day, and I've been using it for over a month. So I don't know what it was, some sort of glitch or something, or maybe a early software thing that had to be settled down by updating an app or something on the phone. I don't know, to be honest. But it was an initial issue, so I just mention in case it occurs to someone else. And as I've said before, I switched off the Moto AI key. Just never use it, and I want to avoid those accidental touches. I tend to find that I use the phone, I open it, and I just keep it open when I'm at home. I just leave it on the desk, leave it on the side of the sofa, wherever I am, and then I just pick it up and I use the main screen. So I'm using it like a candy bar phone when I'm at home. But when I'm popping out, when I'm just going out for a walk or going to meet some friends or something, it's nice to just be able to close it up, slip it in my pocket, and it feels as though it's more secure, as though it's well protected. I know a lot of people will put cases and screen protectors on their phones to protect their main screen, but effectively you don't need to. Your main screen is protected most of the time if you keep it closed like this. And the outer one with the Gorilla Glass ceramic is very tough. I've got no scratches, no marks, nothing, and I've been slipping it in and out of my pocket, just popping it down all over the place. I often put it face down because it has flip to shush, so it goes silent if I'm in a training session. I'm a trainer, by the way, I train people. So I put it face down and that silences the phone, and of course because I'm putting it down on that glass I wouldn't want it to get scratched, but again, as I say, no issues at all. It's been great. Summarising it, looking at the value of the phone, it feels solid and reassuringly robust for a flip phone. The hinge is quiet and hopefully long-term reliable. It feels and looks premium. I love the textured back. It gives it a nice bit of grip, and I felt no need to put a case on this. The processor makes the Razr feel snappy and responsive. It has a clean, minimalist UI. It's close to stock Android, and it has that fast refresh rate which makes the phone a pleasure to use. The battery's good for a day and supports quick charging. The way I tend to use my phones is when I'm at home, I charge it overnight on a wireless charger so that when I get up in the morning it's fully charged, and then I take it off and I tend to leave it off for the rest of the day. If I'm going for work, I have to drive to clients' properties, I tend to put it on a wireless charger in the car because I'm using it for sat-nav, so it gets charged on the way to my appointment. But during the weekend when I'm at home, I don't do that, and I've found if I get to the end of the day, I've probably got, if I've been using it a lot, we've been out maybe and I've had it and I've been taking photographs, videos, etc., I might get down to 30-40%, but I've never got lower than that, and that's with a full day's use. I don't play games or anything like that, so maybe if you do, that might affect your battery use, but I find it's very good. So as I say, after that initial connection problem in my car, the phone's connection, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, mobile cellular, have all been faultless. I don't even think about it, which shows how good it is. Is the phone for you? Depends what you're after. If you value a lightweight, compact, easy to carry, good in the hand device, if you like effective and almost pure Android, nice and easy to use, you like the different format, it does make for a bit of a talking point when you use your phone in front of other people. And in a time of rather generic, bland phones, all candy bar phones, it actually looks a bit different. I'm not sure that's the right reason to buy a phone, but it's certainly one of the reasons I like it. Am I going to carry on using it? No. Not because I don't like it, I do, but because I look at different phones, I review different phones, so I need to move on to something else. But my wife and I, like it enough, this is going to become her new phone. So she's been with the Google Pixel for over a year, and she's going to swap to this now. She likes it that much.